What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns podcast. I'm your host, Justin, here to give you the daily content. So today we're going to talk about Zach Lavine. The Chicago Bulls need Zach Lavine just as much as Zach Lavine needs the Chicago Bulls. It's a symbiotic relationship. If we want to accomplish our goals as a team and Zach Lavine wants to accomplish his goals as a player, they need each other. They need to come together. So it's kind of obvious what the Zach Lavine story has been this year so far. It's been disappointing. The Bulls with him, they were 5-14, I believe. Without him, 10-7. So we need him to come back and fit into how the style changed without him these past 17 games. The Bulls 10-7 over these past 17. That's a 59% win rate. If they can keep that win rate up, that's 27 wins over these last 46 that they'll have with Zach Lavine. That would put us at 42-40, which is an improvement from last year. Last year we were 40-42, and it would guarantee us a play-in spot, which I'm already on record saying that's very important for the development of Kobe White and Patrick Williams and seeing what we got with those guys in those high pressure moments, like a play-in game, like a playoff game. So Zach Lavine needs to come in. His numbers are down this year. 21 points, 44 from the field, 34 from three. His worst numbers really since his rookie year, especially with the shooting splits. So Zach Lavine, he should be playing with a chip on his shoulder right now. For the past 2 months, not only has he seen Bulls Nation kind of shit on him, the fan base kind of turn on him, and I'm guilty of that too. I'm not going to act high and mighty like I haven't been shitting on the dude. I have. I'll be real about it. But not only has he been seeing that, he's been seeing the national media clown him too. You saw Woj last night. You saw Wilbon last night on ABC. They were just making fun of him pretty much the whole time. That's got to give him some sort of chip on his shoulder. Fans like to talk about Zach Lavine. If he gets traded to the Lakers, he's a third option. He's going to be a catch-and-shoot guy. He's not going to isolate anymore. If he goes to the Warriors, he's going to replicate what Klay does. He's not going to isolate anymore. He's not going to dribble as much. Why wouldn't he do that with the Chicago Bulls? If he's smart, and I do think Zach Lavine is very smart, if he's smart, he's going to play like that with the Chicago Bulls. He's going to see what we've done the past 17 games, and he's going to realize I don't need to isolate. I don't need to dribble into a tough contested shot anymore. I'm going to get open. The way Kobe White's playing, the way Patrick Williams is playing, the way DeMar DeRozan is playing, the facilitating we're seeing from DeMar DeRozan over the past 17 games, the way he's changed his style the last 17. Zach Lavine, he's going to get open shots. All he has to do is move without the ball. The Bulls, if Billy Donovan's smart, he's going to design some pin downs, some DHOs, a lot of off-ball action for Zach Lavine to get open for catch-and-shoot three-pointers, to become a high-efficiency scorer, a guy who doesn't need to hold the ball for 8 to 10 seconds and dribble into a tough contested shot, a guy who can get a shot off in 3 seconds or less and be a higher efficient shooter than what we've seen the last couple of years. So the Bulls and Zach Lavine, from all reports, it's not a happy relationship. It seems like Zach Lavine is done with Billy. Zach Lavine's done with the front office. And it seems like when he made his trade request that the team was like, cool, man, let's do it. Let's get out of here. I kind of compare it to like when you're living with your girlfriend and you guys break up, but you got 6 months left on the lease. You got to find a way to make it work. You're stuck with each other for 6 more months. So if you can be like, you know what, I'm going to do the dishes and we're just going to keep this thing pushing. We're going to limit our fights, limit our arguments to try to make the best out of these next 6 months. The Bulls and Zach Lavine are in a similar situation right now where you're hearing the trade market isn't there for him right now. I keep bringing up the Orlando Magic because if I was the Magic, I would ride this year out and just see what this team does in the playoffs. But then in the offseason, I suspect in the playoffs, the Magic are going to be exposed for needing another perimeter threat. So in the offseason, they could look around the league and make a play for the Zach Lavines of the world. So if Zach Lavine comes in these final, 46 games, the Bulls keep that win rate. They get 27 wins, finish with 42. That kind of eliminates the narrative that he's not a winner, that he was the problem with the Bulls early in the season struggles. And that'll do a lot for his reputation. So at the deadline, there might not be much for Zach Lavine. But if he comes in and he changes the way he plays a little bit, he gets a little more efficient, his numbers go up, the stress on him, the load on his body goes down. He looks a lot better and his trade value goes up. So I doubt that even if Zach Lavine comes back, plays like this, the Bulls finish with 42 wins, make a little noise in the play-in, get to the playoffs. I doubt Zach Lavine still wants to be here just because the way this is all broken down, it seems like it's going to come to an end eventually. But the reality is, if he comes back, changes his play style, shows out a little bit over these last 46 games, shows he can be more efficient of a player, that makes him a lot more attractive for these teams going forward in a trade. So the Zach Lavine trade might not be there this trade deadline, but it might be there in the offseason. So Zach Lavine needs the Bulls. The Bulls need Zach Lavine. We've been struggling on offense, struggling to make threes for the last 5 games. So we got to come together. We got to make this thing work. So we're back tomorrow night against the Hornets. That is a team that Zach Lavine has historically owned. I'm excited to see him back. I'm really excited to see Nikola Vucevic back. I never thought I'd say that, but I can't handle Andre Drummond missing layups, 8 times a game and dropping easy dump-off passes. So I'm excited to have those two back. I'm excited to see what the Bulls offense looks like with them. We'll be back tomorrow with the 5 keys to victory. If you're not hitting subscribe, please hit subscribe on this video. If you're not following on Twitter, it's the same handle as this, @HornsBloody. If you haven't heard the new podcast I dropped Saturday, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple, the 5 things I want to see from the Chicago Bulls in 2024. That's the end of this year, the summer, and next year. So, like I said, hit me up on Twitter. Let's talk hoops. Take it easy, Bulls Nation.